This is Hamilton, top of 164. He said, "For it is a truth which the experience of all ages has attested, that the people are commonly most in danger when the means of injuring their rights are in the possession of those towards whom they entertain the least suspicion." What's he saying? The people that you think are, okay, they're, we elected them to public office, leave them alone, they'll do the right thing. Those are the ones that you should what? Be most suspicious of. Know what Hamilton is saying? So, you put your confidence in the people, not necessarily the leaders, at least blind confidence. Now I want you to go to this next quote by Jefferson down at the bottom. This is the one that surprises a lot of people, some of the things he says in here. Let's read it. He says, "It would be a dangerous delusion were a confidence in the men of our choice to silence our fears for the safety of our rights. That confidence is everywhere the parent of despotism." What's the parent of despotism? Just kind of forgetting about our leaders, not watching them, not holding them accountable, thinking that, well, they must be good because they're our leaders. That will lead you to despotism. Isn't that what he says? Now look at this next statement. "Free government," he says, "is founded in jealousy and not in confidence." What do you think? Founded in jealousy. Let me ask you this question. Is it good to be jealous? See, we've kind of grown up thinking jealousy is bad. What's he talking about? We must be jealous of what? Our freedoms, our rights. And if somebody tries to take them, we should be right there. So I ask you, is jealousy okay? In that meaning, it absolutely is. Perhaps that gives a little more meaning to the Old Testament declaration. I am a jealous God. In other words, what's he saying? Don't attribute my creations to some rock or some tree. Give credit where credit is due here. See that? That's okay. Jealousy. Free government is founded in jealousy, not in confidence. Isn't that interesting? We do not have blind confidence in our rulers because they are human. And you know what power does to human beings, just like Jefferson did. Okay, let's go on here. He says, "It is jealousy and not confidence which prescribes limited constitutions to bind down those whom we are obliged to trust with power, that our Constitution has accordingly fixed the limits to which and no farther our confidence may go." We have confidence only to a certain extent in our leaders. And then look at the next paragraph. He says, and these words in caps you need to have memorized. This is classic Jeffersonian doctrine here. "In questions of power, then, let no more be said of confidence in men, but bind him down from mischief by the chains of the Constitution." What are the chains of the Constitution? What's he saying here? Checks and balances, separation of powers, limitation of powers, very defined powers we've delegated to the federal government. All of those and other things, as we'll learn later, are the chains of the Constitution. Do you remember, folks, that in a previous lesson we talked about the spectrum and the fact that most nations in the world vibrate between both ends of that spectrum? And what was the Founding Fathers' desire? They wanted to create a government which was where? In the balanced center of the spectrum. And once they created it, they wanted to make it impossible for it to what? To move. Well, how do you make something impossible to move? You bind it down, you chain it down, you nail it down. And that's what Jefferson's talking about. The chains of the Constitution held it so tightly to that balanced center that it would not move. It would stay in that proper position where you would have just enough government to protect the rights of the people, but not too much to oppress the people. What happens if you break the chains? It would most likely go which direction? You know human nature. You give them a little power, what will they do with it? Over time. They'll want a lot more. So all of a sudden, this government starts moving more and more and more towards tyranny. Do you understand that? And the founder said the only thing that will keep it here is these chains that we've put around the Constitution.